Welcome back everyone to another Coach Blakers video. Today we're going to be talking about making plays. Playmaking is one of the most important things in League of Legends. It helps you progress the game forward. It helps you move the game forward. And as I always say, if you guys ever have trouble implementing any of these concepts into your games, make sure you book a session at coachblaker.com. My theory has always been, and it always will be, why play hundreds of games, waste hundreds of hours, when you can learn to apply a concept in as little as 15 minutes and start skyrocketing your gameplay. It just doesn't make much sense. So make sure you book a session at coachblaker.com. If both teams never made plays, it'd be a very, very long and boring game. But you also have to keep in mind that playmaking can do one of two things. It can win you your games and it can lose you your games. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to identify plays as well as make the plays. There's a lot of guides out there telling you to make plays, be proactive, but not many teach you how to identify them. What do they even look like in the first place? We're gonna go through every single role and look at their perspective in this game, and we're gonna see what they look like to every single role that there is. Now this is a random gold game. I didn't want to use a game that I was in because I was going to be biased, and I didn't want to use a high-low game whether I'm in it or not because there's less mistakes to be made. The goal is to help you identify plays, and if players are playing so well that there's barely room to make those plays, it's going to be harder for you to identify them. Whereas if I go into an ELO that has a lot of areas to make plays, you'll be able to identify them and pick and choose which ones you would like to make. Also, I want you guys to keep in mind, and girls, that playmaking is not about being some crazy mechanical flash insect, flash Malphite ult, flash Sejuani ult, whatever. Playmaking has nothing to do with your mechanics. Playmaking is something to help progress the game forward. Even if I'm playing Yuumi, yes, she's limited in playmaking potential mechanically because she's not that great by herself. She needs to be on someone. But what you can do is point players in the right direction. And that basically triggers a domino effect. In which case, I move you here, Malphite's like, okay, I'm coming. He ults. He is the trigger puller, but I'm the playmaker. I put him over there. I made sure that our team was over there. We end up getting kills. We end up getting Dragon or Baron. That's what a playmaker does. It has nothing to do with the mechanics of your fingers, the mechanics of your champion. It's all about the mental gymnastics in your head. So most of your plays as a top laner is either rotating for your jungler or teleporting across the map to impact the play. Now, your top lane matchup is something that you should already know. I'm not going to go over the Mundo into Malzahar top lane matchup. That's not what we're talking about. What we're looking for is ways to impact the game. So right now we see Jarvan in the jungle with Lee Sin. We know Jarvan's an early game jungler. We also know Lee Sin's an early game jungler. So the odds of them trying to fight each other is pretty high. So as we see him in the jungle, we should know that we can't rotate. So we would ping him careful. We'd ping him careful because a lot of junglers don't understand that if your laner has no priority, we can't rotate for you. So ping him back. That's one way you can impact your games right there, is letting your team know what you can and can't do. Letting your team know that you have no mana, you have no HP, you're not level 2. Whatever you need to do, you can ping it. You don't have to type it. You can ping every single thing on your HUD. If you press tab, if you ping down below in the little HUD down there, you can ping every single thing. So use that as much as possible to give as much information. Because you can't rotate here, you know, they're gonna get collapsed on. There's nothing that you can do. How do you impact this? You can't. It's not a play that you can impact. Instead of going to run down here, we need to stay in our lane and continue to farm and continue to get our levels. And there's just nothing that we could do. And that was a waste of time. So how do we know that's a waste of time? How do we know we can't impact that? As I said before, we're shoved in, we're lower level, we have no HP. That should have been something we should have been able to recognize before Jarvan was even in that jungle as he was going into it. Pay attention to what's happening on the map because that way you're getting a lot more information to let you know if I can make a play, if I can't make a play. And you could have impacted that play, again, if we would have just pinged them back. That is a way you can impact your plays. Playmaking is not some flash, fancy, mechanical thing. It is definitely based off your decisions. Okay, so again, you know, top is looking pretty scarce. Not really any plays to be made, right? We don't have the ability to TP down bottom because we don't have any HP. And again, your plays are going to be either you're teleporting or you are roaming. And now with a play like this with Mundo, we know that Dragon is coming up. We know that we're stronger than Malzahar, and we also know that Malzahar just used his teleport. He teleported down bottom. So we know that there's a Dragon play being made. Now we can teleport down there, but we have no HP. Also, we'd have to back to buy items and then teleport. It's not a play that we can make. The best play that we can make right now is the fact that there's no top laner and we know that Lee Sin's bottom, we should just push plates. That's our play. And again, plays are not something to be fancy and crazy and outplay mechanic. Plays are just anything that can gain you an advantage. That's all it is. So we come up here, and we teleport it. Again, what are our plays as a top laner? We either teleport or we roam around to help the jungler or the mid laner. You know, whatever we can impact on the top side. So seeing as our jungler is doing the same thing he's doing again, going to invade, we can shove this wave up and we can start moving to go help him with Lee Sin. So right after we push this, we rotate. Now, you start backing up and you go ahead and rotate down here. Why? Because you know your jungler's doing a camp right here. You might not have to walk all the way down, but you want to get out of vision. You want to be somewhere over here because you don't have any minions to even clear right now. You already shoved it up and he's going to be forced under tower using his mana. We're not going to be able to make a play here, but we can impact if there's a play being made here. Again, our jungler is invading, so let's see what happens. Okay, Lee Sin's down bottom. So we wouldn't have had to actually rotate all the way. We would have been able to just move here and then go back up. We wouldn't have lost any experience, any gold, and that was a potential that if Lee Sin was there, we were already in the vicinity. Again, as a top laner, you are playing around your teleports and you are playing around roaming to help the jungler in the jungle. And right here that we run at him and we end up getting the kill here, which is fine. We could push this up, and as you see, jungler's top side, the mid laner's mid. We also have a top laner dead. This is a play for a Rift Herald that we can make. Our jungler's in the right spot, our mid laner's in the right spot, and this top laner's dead. If we were to fight, it is a 3v2, and even if you are low as Mundo, you will heal. So we can go ahead and call that dragon. I mean, not Rift Herald, not dragon. You pretty much do the same exact thing that we could have done here, and we could have actually had our mid laner, and we could have been fighting for a real objective. We would have gotten that objective because we would have been set up, we would have had that 3v2, and we would have just got the kill. But instead, we kill our team because we try to get plates. Again, you have impact. You can make plays. Plays are not about being flashy. Keep that in mind. So they do get Rift Herald because of our plays. And I want to say this is pretty much laning phase over. Oh, okay, I guess we do that, but I want to say it's pretty much laning phase over at this point. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much laning phase over. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the jungler. All right, junglers, we're going to be looking at it from a jungler's perspective of where to be able to make plays, how to make plays, what we're going to do. So we're just going to go ahead and take a blue buff because we are invading, I guess. We're doing our thing, We take a look at top lane. We see that he's shoved in. We know that he can't help us. So this is not really something that we want to do because we already know that we don't have priority. So if we don't have priority, we can't be invading. We can't be doing anything like that, right? All your decks have to line in a row as a jungler. That's the crazy part about jungle is most of your plays, if not almost all of them, are laner dependent. Now, I'm not saying your laner sucks so you can't make plays. I'm saying that if your ducks are not in a row, you can't make that play. If my top laner is being shoved in and my mid laner is low and I decide to try to invade, I can't. The ducks aren't in a row. They have to be in a row. They have to say, okay, my top laner is healthy, he has prio, my mid laner is healthy, they have prio. And even if they don't have prio, do they have the ability to rotate? And when I say prio, I'm saying priority. Priority is meaning that you have a wave state kind of like this, where that you have them so far pushed up that when you rotate, you should be the first one to get there because you have prio. They're forced to clear the waves under the tower and then they rotate. That makes sense? Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to what our jungler's doing. So do we have plays to be made here? We're gonna go get this crab. We don't get the crab. Well, we decided to go for a mid lane gank. This is a play. This is a play. He seen it before I did. I didn't look at the camera. I was fast forwarding it. We would wait for her to teleport. Noticing that there's no minions though, we can actually just straight up EQ her and she shouldn't be able to get out. Yeah, I was gonna say. There's no minions for her to teleport to. Huge, huge, huge. Is there a play to be made bot? Yeah, we actually can make a play bot too. If they start fighting, we could do exactly what he's doing and we can make that play. Just like that. Boom. And this is why people think jungle is pretty broken. It's because you have the potential to make plays anywhere. Anywhere. Whereas every laner is forced to make the play around their specific location. Unless you're a mid laner. You can kind of do whatever you want. But as far as bottom and top, like their plays are basically split off top half to bottom half of the map. So we don't have enough to do the dragon. We kill, our team's dead. Is there a play to be made mid here? She is shoved up. They are looking to gank her. I don't think there is a play to be made. So we continue to do our things. Okay, we see Karma middle here. Looking for a play. Didn't see one. Decides to recall. I'm going to go ahead and do the Krugs. Do the red. Looking for another play. Could have just done our Raptors here. But we're deciding to go for the blue buff. This is different though. You see there's priority. Priority, priority. Ducks in a row. Healthy, healthy. Ducks in a row. If Lee Sin decides to show up, this is free. Lee Sin doesn't show up though. We see Lee Sin bottom right now. So we have a potential to make a play for this Rift Herald. Why? Because Lee Sin's bottom. Instead, we decide to go bottom. Looking to make a play on him. He gets out. We don't get anything. We continue to farm. Something else is happening down bottom. He can't make a play for that dragon. He can't make a play for that mid. Again, he could just go ahead and go get that Rift Herald, right? We can't really contest a lot of these things. So we go ahead and try to make a play there, but we already know we couldn't contest it. Why? Because our ducks were not in a row. Ari's not there. Now you could say, well, Katarina's low too, and she's not there. It doesn't really matter. They have prio. Their team is already there. There's no reason for us to even try to contest this. There's just no reason. We decided to contest it, and we do end up killing ourselves, and I think we end up killing the Nami. No, Nami gets out. Again, there was 2 times that we could have made a play there. Again, Malzahar is dead. Let's go make a play for that Rift Herald. Instead, we don't do that. We try to go help with the Mundo, whatever he was doing. We could have called the Rift Herald. Ping, 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 ping. And called the Rift Herald. Okay, we come down bot to make a play. Now let's see how we identify that that was even a play to be made here. They're already fighting. So because they're fighting, this is a play that you can make. Because at this point, it looks like they're probably going to go for a dive. I would. They stay to try to fight. We come here, we clean it up. That was just making a play off of the fact that they made a play. So that was more of a rotation. That was more of a reaction. It wasn't a forced play. It wasn't a play to be really made. It was more of a reaction. It was like, okay, this is happening. I'm going to go do it. Or a lot of times, playmakers are the ones that tend to get the thing started themselves without actually having the other team do something. You see an ability down here to make a play, and we could have just waited for Jhin to get in range, and then we could have gotten a kill, and we could have made this a play right then and there, because he's going to stay. If we would have just waited for Jhin to get close enough for W or R, we would have been able to, make this an actual play for a kill. So, if you guys didn't notice, there are a lot of plays in this elo, which is why I decided to use this elo. And the thing is as well is that junglers can make a lot of plays because they are always around everything. We get a kill there, made a play. We can go ahead and take the plates here. Instead, we decide to go there. We could have gone and invaded because we killed Katarina. Instead, we decide to go here. If we were to go over here, maybe we could have actually ended up killing this Kaisa here. Oh, we definitely could have killed her. So, again, we're more reactionary. We're not really forcing much. We could have waited for Nami to get a little bit closer, but it's fine. We go for the play. Lee Sin shows up. It is what it is. And it's a failed play. And you can tell that a lot of these plays are just mistimed. They're not actually bad plays. They're just more of like, they're just timed poorly. So, again, now we're going to move on to mid lane. So as far as mid lane goes, we're going to go ahead and look at the perspective from mid lane. What are the plays that we can make as a mid laner to impact our games? We see Lee Sin's going in there. Not Lee Sin, I'm sorry. We see Jarvan going in there. So we could, in theory, rotate, but we need to hit level 2 first. So we should be shoving to hit level 2 right now, to be like auto-attacking, and we should be positioning our body over here so that we can go rotate. If we would have been able to notice that, okay, he's invading, we could shove her off the wave like we're doing right now, but we do it on this side. When doing it on this left side, she's forced to go over there, and you're zoning her back. Auto, 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 clear this wave, hit level 2, rotate. If you hit level 2 first, she has to hit level 2, and then she has to go. And in which case, she will be too late. You guys will get the kill. So this is a play to be made at 2 minutes. Already into the game, we could have had impact. We go, but we're really, really late. And because we're late, everybody decides to rotate, and we end up dying for it. When we could have just been there like that, and we could have been able to make that play happen. So we're going back mid here. Unfortunately, we did die. We get a nice juicy wave, though. Get a free kill onto the mid laner. We took a lot of damage. Holy. We see something happening down bottom, but again, I mean, ooh, that's sketch because we took so much damage. If we were full HP, we could probably look to rotate, but we're not. And so since we're not full HP, we want to just continue to push the wave like we're doing, and we want to hit the tower. This is the play that we can make because we know that Katarina was bottom. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. We could have gotten, maybe, nah, we couldn't have gotten the play because of the 5-minute damage reduction onto towers. I will say, though, if we never died, that bot lane play, we could have made it to. But because we died, we had to be late coming back. We had a big wave to deal with. Like, that would have never happened if, you know, we didn't die. So, there's that. All right, we're recalling. Coming back on the map. As a jungler, or not as a jungler, I'm sorry. As a mid laner, you have a Rift Herald to take care of, and you have a Dragon to take care of. You should be able to be on both sides of the map. That's the beauty of being a mid laner. You're kind of a second jungler with their lane. So we should be looking for a Dragon play and a Rift Herald play. That's what we should be looking for. He's going to invade again. We're in the same scenario, where that if Lee Sin shows up, we rotate. Again, if he's top side, we need to put our body towards the top side so that way we can move. Always what you want to think about as a mid laner. Okay, now we're looking to rotate. So it's kind of doing the same thing, but we should have been doing it the other way and then doing it this way. But, I mean, it's the same concept. Okay, gets low. The play failed. Happens. She ends up dying. Shouldn't have happened. I'm not going to discuss how we could have played that better. It was just, we're focusing on the plays. Whether or not the execution's poor, we're focused on the plays that we can make. Okay, we know that Lee Sin's bottom. We see Jarvan top. Again, this is where we could ping the Rift Herald. This is a Rift Herald play to be made. Malzahar dies, Rift. Why are we recalling? You could just go for the Rift Herald play. We've seen Lee Sin bottom. Instead, this happens. We recall at a poor time. They get collapsed on, which is what we could have impacted. Look at our HP. Like, if we were a play to be made, we missed it. What's happening down bottom? Could we rotate to this? We could rotate to this, but will we get anything out of it is the question. And it's no. So we would be able to stay mid like Ari's doing. This is perfect. Ari has a ward. You could put the ward over the wall just to see where Lee Sin is. You know, we can get a little bit more vision controls on Ari, but we're not really focused on that. We're focused on the playmaking aspect. We see stuff happening top. Can we make it to there? Definitely not. Oh, wait. This is not that moment. We could make it here. I thought this was the moment where he died, but it wasn't. It was later on where he dies. So we could have made it to this play if we would have just been paying attention. We would have got here, got ourselves a double kill for us. What does Katarina do? Pay attention. And this is one of the things that Katarina's and Akali's and Zed really do have in common is they are very aware. They know exactly where to be, and they know the plays to be made. And that's the problem. Because every champion could pull this off, as long as you're just paying attention. So Ari could have went up there, got those 2 kills, because we've seen that Karma and Mundo was there. Again, it's the same scenario. If you rotate right now, you should be able to make this. Even if you rotate a little bit later, you still will be there with Jarvan. And that's a double kill. Again, another play we can impact. There's just so many plays to be impacted. There's so many, like, I mean, not impacted. There's so many plays to be made to impact the games. But it's just hard identifying them. This is what you're looking for. This is the things that you want to spot out when you are playing. Laning phase is over. We're going to move on to the bot lane now. All right, as bot lane, we're going to do bot and support at the same time. They're in the same area, so, you know, it obviously just makes sense that you're on the same side of the map. Again, we're doing the same thing that we did as a top laner. We're paying attention to the objective on our side, which will be Dragon, and we're going to be paying attention to our jungler invading, which is, you know, our jungler. Now, if your jungler is more aggressive or less aggressive, you know how you have to play. If your jungler is more aggressive like a Jarvan, then you know that you're going to have to do a lot more of rotating to be in their jungle. If your jungler is weaker, something like, I don't know, what's a weak jungler? Master Yi, I guess. I mean, he's not really weak, but Master Yi, you're going to have to probably help him in our jungle more often because he's going to be invaded a lot. So very important, something to pay attention to. Or very important for you to pay attention to. What did I say? Something to pay attention to. Okay. So we know that Jarvan was going to go to Crab. He didn't do Crab. He decided to go mid. Now he's going for Crab. So we rotate to Crab right now. There is no way for us to catch. We're not poking them under tower. There's no reason to. Let's just go ahead and rotate to make sure this guy gets it. We don't have to go all the way to the Crab. What we do have to do, though, is just kind of walk over here. Just get yourself over here. It scares their jungler back enough, but also what it does is it makes it seem like you're going to be there, so that way it spooks those guys, right? Because if it's like, oh, it's back, it tells their jungler, oh, we shouldn't go, but also it scares them because they don't really know what's going to happen, so they might rotate, she might miss all this farm. Like, there's a lot more positives coming out of it than negatives. So we would go ahead and rotate, and we just be right there, just out of vision. We don't need to go do anything. Look, we didn't do anything. We're just hovering. We could have been right here helping him get the Crab, and then maybe we could have gone in and helped him get the crabs. I don't know. But we could have been rotating a lot more. We're still kind of in our own zone, though. Luckily, Jarvan is very aware, and he tries to go for that play, and it happens. But again, if you want to have impact as an ADC or as a support, these are the things you have to keep in mind. My jungler wants Crab, my jungler wants Dragon, my jungler wants to invade, my jungler wants to farm, whatever, and play to it. You could even go ahead and roam to mid. You know, it's not. I'd only roam to mid as an AD carry if there's really nothing to do or I'm coming back on the map. As far as the support, you can kind of just go whenever you want. Okay. Perfect. A little ward down. Cool. No play to be made, right? There's no jungler down here. Nothing for us to really do. Okay, now there's a play to be made. Why? Because they're starting to rotate. So we can do a couple of things. We could just get this Lee Sin right now. Boom. Unfortunately, the play went horrible, but they made the right decision to rotate. So it's very, very, very good on them. That's what you want to do. There's a play to be made. You want to go make that play. I think they should have went earlier, though, in my opinion, but, you know, neither here nor there. All right. So this right here could have major impact. This, we know our millionaire's not there. They're dead. We don't know where Katarina is. She could still be there. She could have recalled. Who knows? But we know that this dragon is one that we take an L on because their team is already there. Their team is already rotating. There's not much that we can do. If we would have analyzed the situation beforehand, so let's say we watched it this way, right? We can also see that she hit 6, the Kaisa. So we really don't win this. So we don't even really, we don't want to take it. We don't want to take it. We ping our team back. This is how we impact the game as a support and a ADC. We ping our team back. There's nothing we could do. Ping them back. Unfortunately, Nami does that thing that all Namis tend to do, and all enchanters really, and I made a video about this, but they tend to just rotate to anything. They just want to help everybody. And if you want to climb, you following people around and you trying to help everybody is not going to be doing the thing for you. Trust me, this is not going to be how you climb, because you doing that basically means you're playing how whatever elo you're in is playing. If I'm just following gold players around, I'm just going to be gold. If I'm just following plat players around, I'm just going to be plat. So it really does come down to that. All right. Continue to watch. Just doing our thing down here, which is fine. Jarvan shows up for us. Cool. Gets the crab. We recall. Jarvan's down there. Almost dies. Recalls. And I think by now, the laning phase is about to be over with top side here. It is. So laning phase is over. So that'll be it for bot. Again, it's the same type of thing top, it's just flipped. So you are essentially doing the same exact thing. So that's the end of the video. I hope you guys understood what was happening. Again, if any of these concepts that I'm talking about, whether it be this video or other videos you're having trouble with, I highly recommend you go to my site and book a session. It is way faster than spamming games, than playing hundreds of games. It is way faster than playing hundreds of games or spending hundreds of hours in the same exact spot when you could just have a session for 15 minutes and then you just instantly, like, it just doesn't make much sense for you to waste that time. So if you are serious about actually climbing, check out my site. It's for you guys. Just to recap, a play is not some fancy mechanical thing. A play is strictly just something that will help progress the game. It's basically a shot call. You can call it a shot call making too if you I don't know, it sounds horrible, but it doesn't always have to be some fancy Lee Sin insect or some crazy Malphite ultimate or Sejuani engage. That's not what a playmaker does. A playmaker can just be someone, even if it's a Soraka or a Lulu, they're pointing players in the right directions and they're telling them to pull the trigger, because within that we're pulling the trigger like a domino effect. If I'm saying, hey team, go over here, and our Malphite's like, I'm over, I'm coming, and he ults, I made that play. That was me. That wasn't the Malphite. I got him in the direction. I got my ADC in the direction, and we made the play together. So that's what being a playmaker is. So again, I hope this helped you. If you guys got any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you want to book your session, coachblaker.com is where you want to go. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you guys for the subscriptions. But you know what I always say? Thank you for doing what? Approaching this like a coach.